Hi, Sheena Douglas again. What you're looking at here is the fuchsia from one of my Perfect Partners die and stamp range, and I just think this works so well. It's so pretty, and I'm going to show you how to cut it, stamp it and stick it together. And if I show you, just pick this up a little bit, you can see how it just works from all angles. And that's just one colour option. Obviously with your fuchsias you can have double layers, little things at the bottom here, you can have different colours. You know, it's all to do, but the construction's pretty much the same. So in case you didn't know it, Perfect Partners is a range that consists of dies which are all hand drawn by myself, that are really excellent quality. Cut through, I would definitely say for the fuchsia as well, the first thing you want to do, cut through 6 layers of copy paper. That's what we're going to be using, and so you're going to get, you know, so loads of flowers made at once. And cut and emboss, you can see they've got clear emboss lines there, all hand drawn on the layers to make them look as natural as possible by yours truly, but also with stamps that are drawn to my usual pretty detailed level that match perfectly the size of the dies. So by that I mean I haven't got a halo around the outside of white card, so the way we do it, the way we're going to put them together, I think is a lot easier. So I'm going to make that clear in the next bit. Right, so as you can see, you've got, first thing I would definitely do, and I love for flowers, and it was just a happy discovery, is that I love to use copy paper, just ordinary printer copy paper, not coated for inkjets or anything special, cheap as chips, 80 GSM copy paper, and you'll find the dies will cut through with my cutter 6 layers easy. So you're going to get loads of flowers cut at once, you're going to also get them embossed, and the best bit is that when you look, they're going to look more authentic. They've got just the right rigidity to them, but delicate feel for them to look like actual petals as well. So cut those out, then we're going to actually line those up with the stamps, and I'm going to show you how that works right now. So let's start with the leaves. Start with the easy peasy, the leaves. Now I like, for this combination of colouring, you can use anything you want really, anything you like to colour with, and even not colouring at all, if you just cut and emboss them and use black card and gilding wax, they look fantastic. But well, let's start with stamping the leaves. So let's do this large leaf to start with. I'm going to ink it up just using some green distress ink, and I love forest moss. I think it's my green of choice. It's my go-to colour, green, that one. And then just line them up, plonk them on the top. Literally, there's no technical kind of, it's not mega skill involved here. You literally place it on the top, squish it, and then you've got your leaf stamped, like I said, to the edge, so that there's no compromise on it looking as natural as I possibly could get it. Same thing again, ink it up, lie it on top. Now also the benefit here is, I don't know what you're like, but I hate jumping from a die cutter to a stamp to paint to back and forth, because it just means taking stuff out, putting it away again. What I like to do is literally just have a cutting day, just cut all of your paper or card. Could be copy paper, could be craft card, black card, Sheena stamping card, anything you want, have them all cut, and then you've got them all ready just to do your stamping and colouring. Now even this baby here, the middle, which is going to form the centre of the flower, which everything kind of works around as the construction, marries up, believe it or not. So I'm going to ink it up. I'll just use that one. I'm using Dusty Concord here, so ink that up, lie it down. And it is like I say, pretty crazy that this even does line up. I mean, you can take your time a bit more if you want to get that more precise, but it doesn't really have to be spot on. Honestly, close enough is, I mean, really pretty proud of that, I've got to be honest. So that's that stamped, got that bit done. The next bit, let's do the inside with Dusty Concord as well, because I'm going to have these babies darker in the middle this time. So before you do a stamp though, look and see if you can line up one of your petals. Look for a quirky one. That one's got a bit of a point on it. It's got a little bit of a kind of pointy top, if you see, it's more domed than the others. So that might be my marker. Yep, there it is, perfect fit. So have that ready, ink it up just as we've just done. Now I'm using distress inks to put the creases and the lines and the details in the veins of the petals and leaves, because I don't want it to look, I want it to look as natural as possible. If I used a black ink, it looks to look good, but it doesn't look quite as natural, whereas a darker tone of what I'm going to use would be even better. That's a tiny little bit off there, just always a bit you can get it much more perfect than that, but I'm not going to worry about it. That's perfect. That's fine, really. This one, again, line it up. Now you can see there's kind of a quirky little kinked one there. It kind of moves down, it curves that way. So that's lined up there. I'm using, for this one, Seedless Preserve, because this is going to be more pinky colour. And again, same thing, just line it up. I'm kind of working just on one petal at a time, and I'm stretching forward a little bit more than I normally would, just so I can keep this in shot for you. So get yourself comfortable. Easier if you just look over the top of it than trying to do any kind of stunts. Right. Perfect. Okay, so that's going to go there. This middle bit I'm not going to use right now, but I'll tell you what it's for. I've created this bit so that if you want to wire your fuchsias, it creates a cuff to go around the top of the flower. So this is the way I'm going to use them for cards. But you see, it actually looks pretty natural anyway. But if you wanted to put your wire in there, when you're done to hide the wire, that would wrap around and hide that little bit. So if you're wondering what that is, that's what it's for. So we've got everything stamped out. Now we're going to colour them, and I'm going to colour them with aqua tints. So I'm using Bright and Beautiful here. Now I'm going to show you that the green in Bright and Beautiful is very bright, very beautiful, but really on the vibrant side. Now if you wanted to dull it down a little bit, just a little tip I feel like compelled to mention, is if you touch a tiny little bit of red in there, like the smallest amount, you always add the red to the green, not the other way around, or you will end up with brown eventually if you add too much. But just that little bit of red, now if you paint on that, it just takes that brightness off the green, makes it look more earthy. And if you can hear sound effects in the background, it's just one of our springers who, yeah, she likes to be heard, bless her. And usually when you don't want her to be. So if you want to see just that little bit of red again, just to make it a little bit more earthy looking. But the thing is don't forget to paint the backs as well. As long as they're pretty much, you know, kind of sort of the colour you want them to be, that's all good. That means that noises you're hearing means that she wants me to throw a tennis ball, which is not absolutely going to happen right now. And when you painted them, they're going to be really quite delicate, but they will get tougher because the fibres will kind of mess up and the paints will make them tougher. But just lay them to one side, either force dry them with a heat gun, or leave them to dry. Well, you have to, well, a cup of tea and a piece of cake would be rude not to. Right, so next bit, let's colour this little middle bit. Now I like to do this in kind of two colours. I like to use, there's a really pretty bright red in the Bright and Beautiful, kind of, well, it's a darkish pretty red. I'll show you which one. That's the one I'm talking about. Pinky fuchsia colour, more than red to be honest. But I'm going to literally be very generous with that. Splodge it on, and then I like to pop a little bit of that green again towards the top, because you know when they kind of start to change the colour a little bit on the bottoms, where they go from the centre to where they attach the stem again, you know, like they do, it just turns a little bit greenier. Now if these wrinkle and move a little bit, that's not a problem, because it'll just make it look a bit more natural. Now again, that's really delicate. We'll pop it to one side. That's going to dry while I continue. I told you it wasn't kind of tricky, and it's not, is it really? Now this one colour, that same gorgeous colour there, I just think that's perfect fuchsia colour. Just be liberal with the aqua tints, and you get a lot in those bottles, and they're very reasonably priced, so you can, you know, not have to worry about how much you're using here. Both sides, really wet it, and then we'll pop that to dry. Don't try and pick them up with your fingers, just pick them up with the brush, pop it to one side. You'll find as well, if you're using aqua tints, the reason I love them for things like the fuchsias where you want full on colour is that the colours don't fade. You know, when they dry you've still got that intense, gorgeous pop of colour. Some paints I've used in the past that are great when they're wet, and then when they're dry it's a bit disappointing because it's like all the colour just dried out of them. Okay, same thing, both sides. Now you can do two of these, even three I suppose, for that middle if you want that double, you know, the double frilly fuchsia thing. Probably a technical name for it, but that'll work for me, and hopefully you know what I'm talking about. And then pop those to dry. and then we're going to regroup and I'm going to show you how to. So these are the dried bits here that we're going to pop together. The leaves, pretty much straightforward, so we'll pop them to one side. But we're going to start with this middle bit, and what I'm going to do there is we're going to have to curl it up. Now if you've got a quilling tool, and indeed if you've quilled before, you're going to be a lot better at this than I am. So just saying, you know, some things we will do well, and other things a little bit more kind of like back to basics. And trying to curl a piece of paper for me, probably not my strongest skill set, but hey, there you go, curled it up, curled it around just my pokey tool. So that's got it kind of going there. It's starting to kind of curl up. Now the next thing I need to do is add a little bit of glue in there, because I want this to be quite strong, and it's going to form the base of the whole flower. Now I'm trying to do this so that you can see me, but obviously it's fiddly. You just need to get it going. Again, like I say, if you've got a quilling tool, this would be perfect for that, but we're fine. See, that wet glue will really make it just stick together nicely, and at the end of the day, if you need to pinch it together,